Hello and welcome back for Game 2. We are ready to jump into Champion Select right away. Team Liquid came in, Doublelift saying it himself. Each team he's been on, the utility, the resources have been focused into him. And 100 Thieves said, all right, challenge accepted. Can you protect Doublelift?
Yeah, I mean, he was the sole carry in that game. They had a Zillion in the mid lane, so they didn't have as much damage coming from, their mid lane carry. And that's kind of the thing I'm looking at here is Team Liquid going to go with a multi-threat composition here? Because having Doublelift be the only person who really does a boatload of damage in fights doesn't seem very effective against 100 Thieves when all they have to do is just stack CC him. And historically, 100 Thieves versus TL has come down to the 80 carry matchup, but it was Cody Sun versus Doublelift, right? Over and over again. And that's why 100 Thieves were losing all the time to TL, is if they're both focusing on your AD, and the other guy's AD is just this guy who's going to smash lane, you're not going to have that hyper carry in the late game. But that didn't matter because they played the rest of the map on 100T.
Yeah, and to Doublelift's credit, he still was massively ahead in farm. He was very relevant as far as where he was in item progression and experience and everything like that. But 100 Thieves did such a good job of committing their resources to him because he was the only true threat. When you have Malzahar, when you have a Flash Alistar engaged, when you have a GP ultimate on your head, it's hard to actually get in there and deal the damage.
Yep, and right there, when you see the Kindred jump up there, they banned it away from Anda because it was so powerful in the last game and it was so frustrating to play against. But that leaves the Rakan and the Braum up, and it might have been a little bit of a test there saying, okay, are you forcing Rakara to now play Xayah and have a Xayah-Rakan duo alongside this guy that Aframo hasn't put as many reps with, and they still go for that over the Braum?
And as interesting as it is, I feel like there's this community perception that Xayah-Rakan is just so lane dominant and is very kind of easy to win lane. Talking to a lot of the pros, they actually say it's one of the hardest lanes to play, but if played super well, then you can smash lanes. So, if these guys don't have a lot of practice together, they may not really be able to make it work.
Did they expand on the difficulty of what they feel actually isn't as carry as people think?
I think just the timings of the abilities, making sure that you're on the same page, moving in and out. You have to be in range for the Rakan to jump to you.
Okay.
You want to be in range to follow up, have the feathers in place as they're going in advance.
A lot of conditionals.
Exactly. Everything kind of has to be on the same page and really in lockstep.
Yeah, it's not free by any means, but the thing is that Rakan, up against most melee champions, he does fine. You can get even Spell Thieves and Q Poke, put 3 points in there if you want. But against range champions, if you're playing against like a Zyra or a Brand and the support, he still has hard engage for later, so he has really good matchups. That's why blind picking him is something that people have been able to do for so long.
Let's catch up with what the teams have thrown on the list here. Gangplank, Tom Kench, keeping the global pressure there as well with Abyssal Voyage. And we do see the Lovers duo possibly locked in with a Gnar for someday this game.
And we've got to talk about the GP here for Impact. I would say this is his best carry champion, and kind of sick of being just blind pick GP'd every game and then having to play a tank into it. That's not very fun. So he is going to take the GP, but someday does not have to default to a tank. He is comfortable in a carry versus carry matchup. He is going to go for the Gnar. They could go right at Impact. If you pick an aggressive jungler for Anda to pair alongside this, Gnar at 6 plus something like a Lee Sin or an Olaf or whatever can get in the face of GP and look to dive you.
And it's interesting because you think about Impact, you think about tanks, right? Sure, his top 4 champions, 3 of them are tanks with 2 games apiece, but his #1 most played with 3 games this split is Gangplank, and he hasn't lost a game on it in this split. So going to that champion, allowing them to focus the bottom lane, and now TL have the combination of the Jhin and GP for the team fights and starting them off.
Like that, little Jhin and GP. See what they can do as they put a lot of power onto the map. Second phase of ban sees that Malzahar off the rift. Banned, however, from 100 Thieves side, as we know Pobelter can throw down the void. Pretty powerful with Malzahar, Galio, and Trundle locked out of that phase 2 from Team Liquid.
I like the Galio ban a lot here. Pairs up so well with Rakan, and that engage just becomes devastating, especially when you're playing something like the Jhin, who does not have a tremendous amount of mobility. So definitely trying to keep Doublelift safe there. This is obviously going to be that multi-threat composition, as you were kind of discussing, Zyrene.
Yeah, and I wonder if the jungler is going to come out here. Potentially something like a Gragas would be quite good, considering the tier list.
Olaf as well, I think, is a good option if you want to go for one of those tanky junglers, but is off the table. And it'll be interesting to see what the response is here from Anda. I mean, we did see him bring out Poppy jungle before. That was pretty interesting. And it is possible. It works fairly well, actually, into the Gragas if you're looking at it kind of that isolated matchup. But there's not a lot of other things that your steadfast presence are going to kind of block on TL's side.
Yeah, but an adaptation has been, some people have gone Predator on Poppy jungle, just to rush around and have this big burst of damage when you first E somebody into the wall and just pop off. So we'll see if he goes for that. I'd actually be really interested in that.
Ryu's LeBlanc gets locked in, so we're going to have some assassination. Yes, Blind coming into this game. His eyes will be locked on double lift if he is not devoured by Ole's Tom Kench.
I do like that, though, especially with Malzahar already off the table, the Galio already off the table, two of the answers that a lot of people feel are very strong for kind of locking down and shutting down that LeBlanc.
Will this be a skirmish composition for 100 Thieves? Something like a Lee Sin, something like we talked previously about in the jungle, the Poppy? And there it is. Great call, Azael.
Wow. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think, with the style of gameplay that they're trying to do, you want to have at least kind of one true frontliner. Somebody likely is going to build a little bit more aggressive before he actually goes into pure tank. So having the Poppy to shut them down, I think makes quite a lot of sense. And it's going to be a favorable matchup for Anda in the early stages against Smithy here.
You got to remember, Pobelter Syndra, one of the guys we saw the stage fast enough to just get LeBlanc out of the distortion before it was slowed down a bit. So he has the fast fingers to play this matchup even more so now with those changes to LeBlanc. Syndra versus LeBlanc in the mid lane as we have our final compositions locked in for 100 Thieves TL Game 2.
And this is a very exciting mid lane matchup here. A lot of people like to say, oh, well, Syndra's hit 6 and presses R, but it's not really the case. LeBlanc certainly can snowball this lane out of control, and it's a very much so a skill matchup. Can you actually hit the Scatter of the Weak on the distortion as you're talking about, Riv, or will the LeBlanc be too quick? Avoid that and start locking you down in the chains. Look to try to burst you down herself. There is a lot of outplay potential here, and Ryu and Pobelter are going to be locked into that skill matchup.
And I'm watching, in particular, the jungle here to see who they affect, what they go for, because both these junglers, the Gragas and the Poppy, take Predator now in the meta and try to affect the game early and then transition into tank later, skirmish a bit. I've seen some Warrior Poppies as well, and then tank afterwards. So I want to see what happens here. They're supposed to be kind of almost the sole frontliners of their team, with a little bit from the Tom Kench and a little bit from the Gnar later on either side. But they are the ones who really will be bringing that early pressure.
Semifinal day 2 heading in to game 2 of the series here. 100 Thieves versus Team Liquid. Liquid again on the red side as 100 Thieves to that blue with their choice. And we'll see if they have made the correct one. Much different compositions here coming into game 2. Let's see who can take the next game on the Rift.
It'll be so exciting. TL, such heavy favorites coming into this. 3-0 predictions from both Mark and Jet. And both people thinking it was going to be very heavily TL favorite. Yeah, the fact that they predicted it was the first 6 by exact that it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Just like the Jet stats, Kobe is more right than them.
You were wrong.
Kobe calling that 3-2. And either way, it's going to be an exciting series. Rakara subbing in, winning game number 1. It's pressure time for TL.
And it's something that I've thought about where yesterday, where Cloud9 were down 1-2, and then they subbed in Golden Glue. And Jensen has had a little bit of like a mental block. He's 0-3 in best of 5s against Jensen. When the pressure is on, can he actually perform against him? They sub him out, Golden Glue wins 2 games. Here, Cody-san has a career in the last 2 years of losing against Double Lift, especially in high-pressure matchups. So now you throw in a guy who doesn't have that history, isn't thinking about that, not again, quote-unquote, right in your head. Ricard is somebody who comes in with a blank slate. It's his first time coming in here. Yeah. He doesn't have kind of those scars from before, and it allows the team to operate without any kind of like mental impairment there.
And I think one of the big things is it's not necessarily, it's always not about individual skill or who's the better individual player. It's like you talked about earlier, it can change up how the team plays as a whole. If you don't feel that you need to play around Ricard as you do around Cody, hey, maybe that opens new avenues for you to be able to take the win.
We saw it kind of last game with Anda getting more of those resources here. He'll be on the Poppy. See if things change up as we expect a little bit more of that love to be mid lane now from the junglers.
Yeah, but it's funny because they're both Predator users, and I don't know if they will actually go to that lane. Ganking the LeBlanc, not that great for the Gragas.
Yeah, that's true.
I would feel like bottom lane is maybe the name of the game here for both of them. Potentially going after Impact if you're Anda.
Yeah, it would be very interesting. I mean, if Smithy can find the timing onto a LeBlanc, if you can actually get that body slam flash, combo that with a Scatter of the Weak, there is potential to burst that down, especially if Distortion's on cooldown. It can get scary, but I tend to agree. It could just be more about tracking the opposing jungler with vision, kind of evading and trying to get a camp advantage.
Yeah, I want to see what Anda does here camp-wise, because he went red to Krugs to Scuttle, which gets you level 3 off 3 camps. And now he's going red to Krugs to Raptors, which also gets you level 3, because the Krugs are actually worth a ton of golden experience. Yep. It's funny because it's a camp that was not utilized for the longest time, and people kind of remember it as being not worth a lot of gold or anything. Now it's actually one of your highest value camps. If you can clear them, you should 100% clear them. A lot of junglers start playing around the fact that they're worth so much, and they just try to pad to them. Like, they don't care about wolves as much anymore. They care way more about Krugs.
This is interesting, though. You can see Smithy, level 2, went for those Krugs, expecting that Poppy was going to go for more of a path where they actually trade those Krugs. So this means that he's actually wasted a fair bit of time, walks all the way down there, now has to go back to his own camp, and this is going to get a bit of a tempo advantage for Anda, who is a couple camps now ahead.
Yeah, I believe he's 2 overall ahead. Now that he's got that Scuttle Crab. And he's going to go for enemy Krugs. This is huge. If he can get these Krugs, Krugs are worth so much gold. And especially killing them early. Because I was talking to Medios about this. The second round of Krugs is just so good. So you want to kill these ones and then just get everything else.
They saw him on the top menu wave as Anda takes the Krugs. We're going to head over to Obli, who has a little bit of insight on Team Liquid and entering Game 2.
Thanks, guys. Caught up with Kane, who said that the players were a little bit nervous coming into Game 1, and because they came with an aggressive comp and had a little bit of an early misplay in the jungle, they were forced to play passive, and that's really where the downfall in Game 1 was. He said that in Game 2, they took away comfort picks from 100 Thieves, and that they just need to play with confidence in order to pull off the win. Back to you.
Yeah, early game was a lot off of the fact that Smithy got caught, and then that kill went over to Someday on the GP for early Sheen and all of that. So you lose the jungle, you lose the top lane, and it just ended up being this cascading effect.
And so far, so good, certainly for TL in the bottom lane, at least. Where Doublelift is opening up a CS advantage. He did an early recall, is coming back to lane. But the laners, solo laners, 400 Thieves, are having a pretty good time of it, and I am really excited to see how this top lane in particular goes, because if Impact can show that he can play carry versus carry against Someday and win, I think that really changes things up in pick ban a fair bit, and you have to kind of show more respect over to Impact playing that role. But if Someday slams him here and he has to default back to tanks, well, you're back to just blind picking and free counter pick.
See a lot of the GP work in yesterday's semifinals. In an even lane, GP would fire a cannon barrage, get a nice kill from across the map, and start it off. There's always those small things as Someday hopes to continue pushing in that lane.
Yeah, and we're talking about small things. Something that I want to bring people's attention to is just the amount of time and tempo that Anda had over Xmithy. So he got all of those camps from Xmithy. Xmithy had all of his camps down, nothing to farm, and he had 900 gold. You want your first back to be Predator plus your blue enchant, which Anda was able to do. Xmithy had to sit there, wait for his Raptors to respawn for about 10-15 seconds. Anda was already going towards his Krugs and was able to kill them before there was even a recall out from Xmithy. So Anda's very far ahead right now in terms of experience and in tempo on the map.
Just 5 minutes and not too much action across the rift. Remember to send questions via Twitter using hashtag NALCS for Freak, Kobe, and Contracts to answer during NALCS tonight. Get your questions out there on Twitter. Make Freak read funny things, and we'll laugh at them.
Anime questions preferred for Contracts?
Yeah, absolutely. Should be a good time. It's always awesome to see what those guys feel and kind of get the inside info in the LCS.
Now this is going to be pretty interesting because TL has the bottom lane advantage. They may want to play more heavily around this Infernal, despite the fact that the jungle advantage is kind of on 100 Thieves' side.
Yeah.
If these guys can keep Rakar and Aphromoo locked under their turret, they could try to grab up an early Infernal for themselves.
Yeah, they could, but Anda going back up to the top side, wants the Krugs again, and just cycling Smithy's jungle, and this will get him 2 of those big Krug camps, but you can trade this for it. I don't know how much that's worth.
And I think the bigger story here, though, is the fact that Impact is actually fully zoned off this experience, right? It's now level 6 on Someday, and Anda. They could potentially look for a dive here. The Mega is expired, so I'm not sure if they're going to want to go for it on this wave, but zoning Impact off, yes, it is the Infernal trade for the Krugs, but it's also the experience that Impact is losing. It's the gold that he is losing, and if he falls too far behind in that 1v1, Someday could take over.
Yep. And the difference right now in the junglers is 500 gold. That's how much Anda has over Xmithy now in just terms of like pure pathing value. They haven't fought each other, but he has pretty much 2 kills worth of gold over him.
See what Anda can do someday, pushing in that top. Cannon Barrage still up. May have deterred a bit of the love they wanted to give on Impact. Double lift, a little too close on the edge of the entrance, but they're not going to be able to activate the damage on that from the side of 100 Thieves. In and out as they just try to deter double lift, but he knows it is a bluff. Keeps the CS up, 68 to 55 here, 7.5 minutes in at the bottom lane.
And you can see that Olay didn't even actually use the Devour to pick up double lift, realizing that they weren't going to fully commit to that.
Right.
And it's actually more important that you make those small decisions correctly on Tahm Kench now, because the Devour cooldown is so damn long. It's like 24 seconds at rank 1. So if you actually waste that Devour when he's not really being threatened for the all-in, well then all of a sudden the next one is actually committed to fully and they can look for a kill.
And right here, Ryu's coming down. They interrupt the recall.
Dodges out, kind of tries to get double lift and Ole, but they miss, so the Devour looks like it will save. Chain comes out, Ole may sacrifice himself, but the great health is enough to turn 100 Thieves away.
And hey, that's the point in action right there. Had he used it before, it's actually 28 seconds, so they still have been on cooldown, and he could have perhaps had to blow some summoners, or maybe even one of them dies.
Yeah, you pretty much get it once every wave, and that's it. So if they use it during the wave, you want to attack them in between them. And
TB coming in.
Ole's back in the lane. How close can they get on this one, though? Smithy hits the body slam. Barrel's going to slow Rakara. He has flashed to get out of a situation in safety from Afromu as he puts the quickness on in defense.
Oh, they get the single-use summoner TP to get Ole back to lane, and then it's just pretty much the ultimate from Afromu there. So there's less threat on double lift in this lane. And he can kind of have a sigh of relief. He does have a large CS advantage already. He's above the 10 per minute mark.
And I think what Smithy was looking for there was actually trying to get Ricard to use his ultimate on just the regular Q barrel. Because if you panic and use that there, then he can ultimate you right out of that and knock you back into the team and look for a kill.
Yeah, test the guy who's new on stage. If he's having jitters, if he's having nerves or anything like that, just go ahead and you can camp him, you can throw abilities at him, psych him out, and play around that lane.
I thought something was really awesome that Golden Glue said yesterday of C9 is that you have your game 1 ritual. And just in general, playing best of 5s allow you to see how much you can go outside the box in a game 2, in a game 3, because that ritual is now going to have to possibly last, as he said, for 5 hours.
Yeah, and that's why I also always really kind of have believed in the power of winning the first game and how much more it matters oftentimes. Because especially for players who are more prone to those jitters and are newer, getting the confidence of a first game win for a guy like Ricara, who's not used to being in this situation, who's playing against the most storied NALCS marksman player, that's so big to have that confidence.
I want to ask you guys a little pop quiz question here. How much gold?
It's not Jad Stats, Zauri.
I know, but it's like, how much gold do you think Anda is up right now? There's no kills. It's 16 CS.
A whole bunch.
A whole bunch.
754, I'd say 930 gold.
Ooh, you're real close. He's 800 gold up just off of farming. So
I'd be terrible on the price.
That's my exact definition for a whole bunch.
Yeah, and
I should have guessed 1.
Camp just got picked up, so it's closed to about 700, but still, he's going back and forth between them based on the Krug. Smithy finally got his first Krug camp on the top side, and he's got the most gold in the game. Anda has the most gold in the game as the jungler, 10.5 minutes in, and there hasn't been any kills.
And this is kind of 2 games in a row now where he's had a massive farm advantage in that jungle, and it's very reminiscent of his Poppy game against Dardoch on the Lee Sin, where it wasn't like he was killing Dardoch over and over. He was just non-stop contesting camps, taking away small advantages, and really kind of eking out that small edge that over time becomes a big and impactful one.
And I start to wonder how far 100 Thieves here in the bottom lane will push themselves to take down Ole, to get a flash out of these guys, because now 100 Thieves is starting to come up short on the attacks, and Double Lift and Ole are feeling good. Pobelter as well, winning a bit of an advantage in mid lane with Smithy there to pressure, and Team Liquid is starting to flow around the map. Very nice.
And because they were having this advantage on the bottom side from Double Lift, Smithy finally gets in. He gets to go ahead and steal away a Raptor camp, and he gets to put pressure on Anda. So Anda was basically just playing PvE. He was literally just cycling the jungle, going topside. He was just getting more camps than Smithy. And finally, because of the pressure that Double Lift is able to exert, and then Pobelter walking up as well, he's able to play this bottom quadrant.
It's risk versus reward, right? There's much more risk to trying to go for these ganks, but if they pay off, you get a lot out of it. And has gone for these guaranteed edges where he can, I can get a camp here. Maybe we lose something on the bot side, but maybe you don't get anything, and then I'm ahead. And he continuously is doing this to really just kind of eke out those advantages.
A lot of what he does doesn't require his team to be helping.
Yeah.
Yeah, but something that he has to be conscious about now is that there's an Infernal Drake number 2 coming up on the bottom side of the map, and that's the side that you aren't in particular winning here for 100 Thieves. So if you're seeding 2 Infernal Drakes early and you aren't getting the top turret, which it's actually pretty close to going down, then you have to really think about that. And there's Impact throwing down the cannon barrage and trying to make it so it's a race.
Are rooted. They're going to try defense. Quick Feather Storm reigns on the parade of Double Lift getting a kill on this one, but they will have a bit of turret pressure. Smithy's still on the bottom. A 1v1 between Rio and Pobelter brings him to about 70% HP as Anda starts Rift Herald.
And this top lane pressure that Someday has is actually such a big deal. The cannon barrage is down. It's going to be a solo first turret here for Someday. Yes, there was a little bit of pressure from Anda, but it's not like Impact ever got dove. It's not like he even had to blow his flash. He's just straight up getting beat in this carry versus carry matchup, and that's going to be such a big deal of 400 Thieves and keeping pressure on the map.
Yeah, it's the solo first turret gold. The next turret on the bottom side that goes down, and it's for TL, is split among 2 people. They'll get this Infernal, but that's also the Rift Herald going over, and it looks like it's going to be part of Smithy's jungle too.
Even with that first turret going to 100 Thieves, though, I would take it with double Infernal, 40 CS advantage on your Jhin, who gets more from Infernal than I think any other champion in the game, with a ridiculous amount of AD. So Double It, again, is in a position to carry.
In a position to carry, but in a must-protect position. Take the bullet for the president at this point. He is huge, and he needs to stand up in these fights. Pobelter low. There's Aphromoo trying to go in. Misses the quickness, so they don't get any charms on that one, and it's only going to be Pobelter having to back here. Rift Herald goes down, and not much is gained from 100 Thieves.
And Pobelter holding the flash, holding the cleanse, not getting rid of the ignite or anything like that, and just kind of keeping it cool, making sure that he won't be exploited in the future there. So
it's going to be tough because I feel like 100 Thieves now, with the composition last time, they could get onto his Kaisa. A LeBlanc, an Aphromoo, or a Rakan for Aphromoo can much easily get to that back line through these champions that want to stop them.
They definitely can, but there's also a lot more threats this time around. So if you commit everything to double lift and he dies, well, guess what? There's still a GP. There's still a Syndra who are there to maybe punish you for that. You definitely don't want double lift to go down easily, but if he has to work through it, through a Tahm Kench Devour, through his summoners, through all these different things, then hey, maybe you're spending too much.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is if they focus down double lift, he can just go into Tahm Kench's belly for about 4 seconds, just kind of huddle up, stay safe, and then everybody else is going to be dealing damage during that time. And then he'll get released, and you have to refocus. It kind of throws people off, and that's kind of what you have to watch out for there in these fights. So it's a complete departure from the last strategy of have double lift be the only threat on the team, and now it's just too many threats, see how 100 Thieves spread out, and deal with all of them.
That's the perfect situation, right? Give yourself 4 seconds to assess the fight again, to come back out and enter the way you want. Hopefully is the results. 15 minutes on the clock, and those 2 Infernal Drakes, we'll see how Team Liquid can put them to work now. Just 1,000 gold down. I think we'll start getting wards more towards the top side of the map with those turrets going down, and the objectives coming up in about 3 minutes.
And something that I like about Double Lift's itemization here is the Merc Treads. You go, okay, he's only against Ryu, who doesn't have any magic penetration in his boots, so it's like, why is he buying those? Well, Poppy E is a 2-second stun, and you have the charm, and you have all of that CC that can come through from the root. I actually like this buy because of the amount of CC, and that's what you want to do, is just get out of it, as opposed to not just be burst down. Because if you're taking all of these autos and that damage from Poppy and Gnar, you're probably in the wrong position in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, Xayah root, LeBlanc root, the Poppy stun, all the Gnar CC, there's a tremendous amount there. The Merc Treads are going to be fairly effective, and you know, tier 2 boots are often very highly prized on the Jhin as well for that additional move speed, making sure you can get in and out to get that 4th shot off. So I think the buy makes a lot of sense, and with Merc Treads Tahm Kench behind him, Double Lift is going to look to stay safe.
Top lane gets Ryu and Pobelter now as they have the long lane to farm in. His turret still being pressured in is Pobelter, the blue buff to blue buff fight. Nice chain onto him. Half health instantly, but he feels good to stay because Smithy is just below him.
Yeah, Smithy is just below him, but also it means he can't do that type of burst again with the ultimate down from Ryu. A lot of people take the LeBlanc burst, and then they're like, wait, let me just back up. She doesn't have her ultimate. She actually used it there, even though it's not a huge ultimate-looking ability.
And that's the one distort she has. Flash will have to be next. takes it back. And they're going to get knocked out. Keeper's Verdict pushes out Tom Kench. Ole and Doublelift aren't in this fight.
Sunday's
That's
here.
going to be Pobelter going down as they trade mid laners. Smithy chomped up and gobbled up by Ole for safety as they now start to focus on impact. A lot of the damage being traded but not finished off in this fight as nobody can find the kills besides Ryu and Pobelter.
Yeah, and you see that TP coming in there from Someday, able to trade back a kill. 17 minutes.
Whoa, Afro move. Woo. That was a boo-boo.
He thought they went back to base. Then he's like, okay, I'll grab a little bit of vision here, no problem. Unfortunately for him, TL was awaiting.
That's actually pretty big for them. They'll get this mid priority and just back up. So getting Afro move means you don't have to seed the map for the next few seconds, the next few waves. And Impact goes mid. Now he's going to go back top because he's got a wave to clear.
We'll see how it all happened again. Ryu, the fancy footwork here.
Yeah, you know, he does do a good job avoiding the ultimate there with the Distort back, but Pobelter is waiting.
And watch this. Smithy, he's going to get E'd by Poppy, but he E's at the exact same time, so they actually counter each other. So he doesn't get stunned against the wall. So he does it at the exact same time in body slams, and he doesn't have to use his flash at that point in time, which is what they were kind of looking for. If you hit him against the wall, Ole might not even get in position because he has to go to the smaller part of the wall. And so it was kind of that double interaction there between the two E's of the Poppy and the Gragas.
Yeah, and especially since Gnar had already blown Flash, somebody doesn't have a way to actually follow over there and go for the Mega Gnar, which would have been that kind of follow-up after that Poppy stun. Either way, though, it is Someday, kind of the strongest member right now on 100 Thieves, who did pick up that kill, so he has a very significant advantage in the 1v1 over Impact, and he's going to be a lot of where their pressure has to come through. He's looking for that Frozen Mallet, going to be building pretty heavily for that 1v1 and trying to dominate Impact. If he can get a kill, that buys so much time for them across the map.
It really does. We talked a little about that global pressure of Abyssal Voyage and the Cannon Barrage. If one of those is gone, you really lose quite a bit because you're trying to utilize it in more than one spot. Ole doesn't get a few licks on there. They're just taunting and tempting for a skirmish on the side of Team Liquid.
It's tough, though, because despite that lead for Someday, Pobelter and Doublelift are way ahead in farm. They have double Infernal, and TL looking to add another dragon to the books.
Keeper's knocked out a Keeper's Verdict. Nicely done. Anda doesn't get that ultimate, but they're still in the fight. And Aframu again deleted immediately in the fight as they look now for the curtain call to slow their next victim. Anda is hit twice. A third time misses, but the kills will be the charm on this. He gets a quick shove over to the Raptors, but he will be taken down as Impact comes up with a parlay.
That gives Impact so much gold there. That gives exactly what TL needs.
Does it continue?
Anda's down for 28 seconds.
Quasi-global pressure coming in to stop Sunday, but they will continue in mid.
And there's potential here for TL to maybe look at the Baron. It comes up right now. It's very early to do it. And there's 15 seconds on Anda, but they decide it's more just clean the waves. Ryu, don't know if he'll be able to get anything here, but someday, and try as well.
It didn't have all his abilities up, so it didn't seem as impactful, but they are not stopping. If they see an opening, they're trying to take it and trying to grab a small advantage. Here's the fight again.
Is looking for these engages, but he is just paper right now. Flash ult in, and look at that. He's just gone so quickly. His combo was barely even done.
Yeah, he's not able to hit Doublelift there at all with the ultimate. So if he was able to tag him, he'll take less damage, but that was huge that he wasn't able to get all the way to the back line. That's two engages now that fall just a little bit short. One tried to reach Pobelter, the other one right there, not able to reach Doublelift.
And a quick breather as we come out of the fights and get Doublelift back into the game and all fixed up on his end as we see 100 Thieves poised, ready. There's just a little bit of discussion between.
Yeah, Doublelift pausing the game there, so we're going to have someone looking into those issues. Hopefully it's nothing that is a big deal, and we can get right back into it.
It's 223, 0, 0, and 3 right now, over 176 in that CS. We've seen the bottom lane with the sub of Rakara coming in. We expected that to go towards Doublelift. It's now can they use this power that they've been getting out of that bot lane throughout the game now.
Yeah, he's already 1,000 gold up. He's 223 CS at 20.5 minutes, and he's got the double Infernal, so he is good to go. It's just kind of someday is his biggest worry, because that guy is rocking 8,200 gold. He's the only person who's ahead of Doublelift in gold. And it's kind of what we talked about when Ricard is in. It's not about Cody Sun anymore for 100 Thieves, and other people are having to step up. And Someday, he has had a split that is kind of looking back to old Someday form, and even past that, I would say, in some regards, saving so many games, and is a huge reason that 100 Thieves are even here.
A little bit of love for Ryu on that top side as they push in. It looks like they're going to dedicate themselves to a little bit more, at least vision on the top. So this final top turret can go down and the mid focus can begin.
We are back into it, but it was just a visual bug there for Double Lift on his inventory, showing an item that wasn't there. So he just rejoins quickly, fixes that up, and there's no IE there, Double Lift.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder what it is.
He's like, can I keep it?
Can I have it, please? Oh, one hit on, steadfast presence as well. So you will not see Ole leave that fight too fast. He goes down, the kill goes to Ryu on 100 Thieves.
Yeah, he exhausts and he still dies without being able to pop his gray health there. So caught out, and that's going to relieve pressure. And 100 Thieves, they're back in it. They're only 100 gold down. It's just going to be this push and pull. And Someday very close to getting this bottom turret over Impact. 2 levels up.
Yeah, I mean, he's just constantly working that down. And he's extending this advantage. You know, oftentimes you see GPs, okay, they're a little bit behind, but they complete Triforce. They can wave clear well enough to then stabilize. He's just falling progressively more behind. And Smithy is spotted and actually pushed off. So they're just going to give this up. I think they're expecting that more people are coming behind after a move. So they just give up another turret there to Someday. He should now have enough gold for the Frozen Mallet to finish off. And 100 Thieves just want to continue to buy time for Someday to create those advantages and look to make picks around the map with Ryu.
And 1-3-1 set up for 100 Thieves using the LeBlanc as the other one on the opposite side. Even though she doesn't have teleport, he's still doing all right against Pobelter. It hasn't been anybody getting kind of solo killed or burst out. It's just kind of trading damage.
I'm also really interested to see what the third item is going to be, and we kind of get a little bit of an answer there as the Vamp Scepter comes in. So this is that commitment to Split Bush, likely going to be a Blade of the Rune King.
Oh, yeah.
And really looking for pure side lane, right? Because sometimes you would see people just go Black Cleaver, and they go Frozen Mallet, and then straight into teamfight, Randuin, Spirit Visage, all this sort of style. Someday is saying, no, I can continue to push my lead. I can slam Impact in the side lane, and that's how we're going to win this game.
Yeah, sometimes it's a trap where you have such an advantage. You're like, I should be fighting. It's like, no, you should be splitting. Stay away from your team. You know, you're helping them by not helping them.
It's very hard because you want to be in the fight. You want to be more of the reason your team wins, but you're doing so much in the side lane, and that's the kind of focus you want out of somebody like Someday, who knows he's adding so much advantage being away from the team.
It's very similar to the discussion we had about jungling earlier in the game, right? It's, okay, you've got a guaranteed CS advantage in a side lane, or you can collapse and maybe something happens, right? So it's the trade-offs there, and you know, if your team can stay safe in that 4-man squad, then hey, continue to extend that advantage as far as you can.
Do you want a boat, or do you want what's in the box? Because it could be a boat.
How big is the box?
How big is the box? 4-2 here, 24 minutes in. TL actually coordinating themselves in mid as well with their 4. It's kind of both teams with the same idea here. It's just who is ready enough to activate on that next step first. Seems like 100 Thieves do continue to get a little bit more room each time for these wards, which may play in their favor.
Yeah, a lot of that is off of Someday. He's had constant pressure. He's got 3 control wards in his inventory. He's ready to constantly set up and give himself split push wards. He's like, team, I got this. Someday 1v9, he's ready to go.
Oh, will he have time to gray health? Answer's yes.
This time.
This time. Goes back with half, though, and those are the small skirmishes we're seeing, especially why Ryu picked LeBlanc to say, here I am gone, and you will be half health.
Yeah, and again, that's just creating pressure for them, right? You know, you push Ole back, you deny his kind of entrance in there to get more vision, to feel safe to do that. They do have some wards around the Baron, so should have an idea if 100 Thieves tries to do anything too crazy, but every time 100 Thieves does that, it's just buying more time. It's delaying, it's trying to get these small advantages.
And Someday's going to back, got 1,200 gold right now, reset before the Drake. Potential for him to actually solo the Drake if he shoves out the wave again, but no, he's actually going to shove out another one. Someday.
I will wallop you.
I mean, he's got time, right? Whenever you push a bottom wave to the tier 2, you get extra time to just do whatever you want on the map.
Just the back from Impact here. I thought he got himself in a position to do something crazy, but he will be coming off the fountain in a moment. And after that 20-minute mark, he may be flying into the map. Looks like just a slow walk out for him as he approaches back out onto the rift. Ryu wards to the right side, inside of Team Liquid's blue side jungle, so they can continuously see what is happening and how to get into these fights. Somebody is looking for an end.
Yeah, these are those awkward moments where you're like, we don't have enough vision to kind of control everything. We're fighting over mid-wave. If Someday goes to the side...
Good. Derek's Gage Zant not locked up with the orange okay.
And Someday wants to transform into Mega to just get them enough pressure where he can threaten a team fight. But also his side wave looks like it's pushing towards him, and you want to be able to go there, but not have to blow your TP to get to the fight. So they're fighting over mid-wave. TL actually go for top wave and that turret, and that's why they're going to kind of deviate from what was just happening.
Yeah, so 100 Thieves can just take that time, run straight to the Dragon, but then there's always the potential of TL threatening a Baron, right? So now 100 Thieves don't really have vision in that area. They have to feel a little bit nervous, which is why they're just leaving a couple of their guys there. They're going to try to maintain mid lane control, push that out, and Impact knocks down a turret on the top side, so it's 100 Thieves are going to have to be forced to respond.
Ocean Drake picking up a little ability to stay in those lanes longer, figure out these waves. But it's all about kind of the macro on the map now, figuring out where the wards need to be. A lot of the skirmishes are happening in the mid lane, as both teams testing each other without really seeing what damage their abilities are going to do with the next clip of items that they've hit. So it's going to be a big surprise for both teams in the next fight.
Yeah, mid-wave gives you that control over going to the Baron, and now Someday back in the side lane. He hasn't purchased, and the last time they fought each other since then, in fact, gotten 2 buys off. He's actually pretty equal in inventory value right now to Someday, because Someday, he's actually sitting on 2,300 gold, and that's pretty much his lead.
You also have to remember, though, 2-level advantage, still a lot of stats to be had there. And I think for now, he's just trying to stay out on the map to actually get enough for a full Blade of the Ruin King buy, because he is getting fairly close to that. So a couple more camps for him if he can grab this Scuttle. He may just be able to get a full completed 3rd item and then really look trying to exploit that advantage.
Yeah, he's got it now. So when he backs, he'll spend that 2,400 gold, get himself that Blade of the Ruin King, and then go back to the side lane. Looks like I think he may have pinged top. Nope. Looks like he's running out to the bottom side.
Pobelter slowly working his way in. Aphromoo just kind of walks up, says, if you're not going to move, I'm going to initiate. But Ole and Doublelift have been ready for this time and time again. They look at it. No, Unleashed Power just misses. Pobelter flashes forward, and he's forced to be devoured by Ole to stay alive.
And that's the story of people just being a little short. That's Aphromoo's 3rd ultimate, 3rd time coming up short, just on the edge of it and not catching his target. But then Pobelter flashes to try and get him. He kind of read him like a book there.
Yeah.
He only got an auto off. He didn't get the ultimate.
The wave clear, though, from 100 Thieves really lacking that safe wave clear here with this 4-man squad. So when they are behind, when they are getting pushed in, you can see they don't really have any ability to actually wave clear if you can't threaten and engage. And with Aphromoo going back to base, there wasn't that option. So TL, just walk up, hold as you like, we'll knock that down. As Someday's just going to continue the split push, continue trying to get those advantages, but you have to feel like he needs more than just a CS advantage. He needs to be able to pressure turrets, or he needs to be able to get kills.
I think he's in that zone, though. I think he's able to actually slowly get these turrets. It's just been the wave was on his side. He had to like push it back. Recall got pushed back to him. So now he's at that point where he'll be at the 3/4 and kind of delay Impact from joining areas. Still have that 2-level advantage for Someday. And he's kind of joining fights now.
Yeah, they don't have too many forward wards to the blue buff side of Team Liquid, so he's kind of stopped just after the river. Safety's going over to Ryu to farm out the top side more so. Now that Baron's up, that's where the eyes are focused. That prize hasn't really been touched as much as it was. In game 1, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 fights almost immediately over Baron and teams. They've stayed away from the den this game.
Impact pushing pretty far up, but you can see TL was moving down to support just in case. Ole was moving inside of the Abyssal Voyage range. Smithy was kind of threatening that move as well. So Someday wasn't actually able to go for the 1v1.
And these have been kind of TL's slowest games in terms of action. A lot of the time, they like to dictate the pace of the game. And 100 Thieves are saying, we're not going to contest Doublelift. They just keep giving him whatever he wants on the map. And they're okay with that because they're getting what equal amounts from Someday on the opposite side. And it's been working out for them because the 100 Thieves matchups in the past have been, our AD is getting shut down. He's usually our win condition. And they kind of flail and try to help out Cody's son. Here it's just go around that and let him kind of take what he wants. Let Doublelift have his way.
To add to that pace of the game, this is the slowest first blood from this game we've had in the split. So that kind of tells the tale of the second game being tempered, and like you said, TL having a little bit slower of a game.
And the question then just becomes, who's going to be worth more in the team fights, right? Is it going to be Someday who's actually able to execute on that gold lead and really make it pay off in the team fights? Because I think that's very tough. The Gnar engage is more kind of telegraphed, and you have a Tom Kent to keep his team safe. Marksmen generally have an easier time getting value out of their goals.
Yeah, and another thing too is just out of the game, who's this going to favor in terms of Afromu shot calling for 100 Thieves and the way they like to pick people apart. 100 Thieves love not having fights unless you absolutely have to. That's kind of been the way that they've played the game. I know Afromu's philosophy is you can win a game of League of Legends without fighting, and that's the opposite way to do it, is to just kind of stranglehold the game and choke people out.
Wanted Pole Belter for a moment, but didn't get him. Just blew the Banshee's Veil passive as they are going now back and forth, hit for hit. Not too much damage being delivered in the mid lane as they pepper each other with abilities. 30 minutes on the clock now. The scoreline is not changing much. I think that Afromu style of work around your opponent is coming to play for 100 Thieves, but they're going to be forced to fight at some point. Again, they're in the mid lane, staring each other face to face, yet they always walk away with little to nothing happening.
I just think every time Someday collapses, it favors TF.
There's again, yeah.
You know, he's not really building up more of an advantage. He's not pressuring turrets. So over time, Impact is kind of stabilizing that CS lead. He is, you know, getting his items. This is a gangplank. He prints money. He's going to get there eventually.
It's the curse. We praise Someday for staying in the lane, and now he's coming to his team.
And it's not necessarily his wrongdoing, right? It can be the call for the team. It can be what they feel they need because they're weak on wave clear, but they're looking now for a rotation up to the top side in the turret.
And so they're going to say, Someday, go ahead, push out the bottom side of the map. He doesn't have Mega Gnar available. No. They're going to try to take this Cloud Drake in 10 seconds, but I don't think that's kind of worth unless you can get equal creative turrets here. TL Impact is backing, has the ultimate, throws the ulti down to clear the way.
Yeah, this is interesting because we could see TL actually try to start a Baron, even just to bait a TP and get that off of Someday. Doublelift does a lot of damage.
That was close. Smithy can get the body slam in, the cast back. They could find Anda or Rakara. They don't want the fight knowing Ryu's coming in from the flank here. They didn't have full vision on him. Team Liquid rightly second-guessed the fight and set up for a bigger 5v5.
Yeah, you saw 100 Thieves playing to the bottom side. Someday is over there. He's just trying to take more because he didn't actually get that turret.
Total control would be huge here. Not a great dragon, but the fight is necessary to completely open up the game for either team at this point. Channeling the Keeper's verdict. 2 were hit out. 3 here. No, that's 2 hit out. Smithy throws down the stopwatch. They're trying to enter in, but they're all funneled to the same spot as they lose it. Smithy. Ole's going low as they grab blue buff. Whoa. The slow coming in. Rakara is squished.
You want blue? Take a blue.
With the blue buff.
Amazing play. Pobelter with the quick thinking and snuffs Rakara out of the fight. They're going to be able to get the third, or another Drake, I should say. An Drake for TL.
It's like that and the let the Krugs kill him with Slushy back. And those two right there are my favorite. I've never seen that before. So he actually throws it at you.
Beautiful start to the fight, though, here from Anda. Not only does he knock multiple away, he gets a stun on Impact there, getting the flash out of Impact to get the initial kill, and then Ryu harassing him over the side, but 3-man scatter the weak, and then just look at that thing. Just jumped right on his head, the big old rock man.
It's like, I got no balls to grab. Throw a rock.
That's great.
It's got to give you some bonus damage or something. That thing's huge.
I don't know if our system takes weight into account or not, but
it should.
That was delightful.
It's fantastic. Let's see it again. Pobelter with a few of the plays. He actually has... Is that the result? When you kill somebody with a buff, you get double refresh? No, I'm just kidding. So he has double buffs on Syndra. They start to clear out top, but now I think we'll get a little bit more pressure on the Baron. Teams will go back to mid and maybe work their way up in this continuous back and forth.
And, hot out
Be
there.
able to distort, unleash power. Not enough orbs on the ground to really deliver that impact damage.
Yeah, not going to be able to just fully one combo, but does send him back to base, right? And that is getting them pressure around the Baron every time. They're looking for these small advantages. Someday moving back up to the team here once more. feeling that he has to be around in case a fight breaks out. In they go.
Huge move by Aframu. There's Ole and Double Lift. They've been trying to stay separated to keep the Devourer working. Keeper's Verdict knocks them both off as he regurgitates Double Lift, who has the chance to shoot in, but it's only Someday, the tank on the front line. Aframu may fall first, and he is down as TL look to continue the fight. Ryu takes the tag on the side before he exits stage right, and now they're on to Anda as Rikara dodging as well, dipping and finding safety. TL find no more kills, but the success and advantage on the map.
And they're going to go straight for Baron. They know the soul laners are actually kind of cordoned off on the side there. They are straight onto it.
You got to watch out, though. Someday, he's almost in Meganar. He has Meganar available. There's the TP from him.
He is 70% Gnar bar. Looking to go out on this one. Full vision coming in from the Scryer's Bloom. Misses a few on the left, but they have their vision on the fight. 2,500 for Baron. Rikara is there with Anda. Anda could get the smite, but it goes to Impact as TL look to get back out of the fight, but deliver damage that will stop 100 Thieves from initiating.
Ooh, that looked like Someday jumped away. I don't know if he intended to land on top of his teammate's head and go even further, because he just Meganard. He may have wanted to be closer to go for an ultimate.
TL with Baron for the next 3 minutes. It has been such a tempered fight over that objective, and they finally pull the trigger here.
Yeah, and it's all about that initial fight. You know, this is engage looks good here from Aframu, but you have to realize Meganar is expiring for Someday. He has no Gnar bar to actually follow up, so he can't dive in on the fight.
Yeah, can't follow up, has way less threat. Having him in a side lane, potentially better at this point. Aframu is pulling the trigger on these recon engages like he always has on that champion, but they've just been coming up short today. This Spring Split MVP not looking in that same form in this game.
And the follow-up really just hasn't been there from the team. You know, we have yet to really see the Xayah Feathers pull through for a root immediately out of that Recon combo. We have yet to really see that full burst damage come through with a Blanc crashing in, everyone hitting at the same time. And it feels like that's what you're going to need to burst someone down.
Oh, just short! Gets the charm, but Double Lift is already inside Ole's stomach with the Devourer. What a great cannon barrage. 100 Thieves are sent into chaos, and they don't know how to get this heist back at this point. Impacts onto Aframu as he thought he had a flank escape, and they're going to come up with more kills. A 2 for 0 for Team Liquid.
This is at least an inhibitor here for Team Liquid. 100 Thieves are routed. There's only 3 of them alive right now. He's got to hit basically the best ultimate of his life.
I think with the Baron buff, you could potentially look to end if they want to risk it. Those turrets are so squishy at the Nexus, and they are looking for it.
They just got to get that cannon minion out of there.
They do have a huge wave bottom if they want to step back for just a moment, but still get a little bit more advantage. And it looks like they'll kind of toy with Nexus turrets here. They will. 9 seconds onto Rikara as he'll come back up, but they feel like they can do the damage. Standing 5 tall, Team Liquid want to end game 2 now, but are still considering the fight, respecting what 100 Thieves can throw down.
Someday has flash.
He's looking to stop that exit, sweep him back in against the wall on the stairs of the base of 100 Thieves. The fight begins. It could be the end. Ole's low as we get Someday resurrecting into the fight. Team Liquid knows they haven't got the kills they need to finish the game, so they'll look back towards that bot lane where their minions have dropped the second-tier turret.
Yeah, they got that Nexus turret, they got that inhibitor, and now looking for even more here. They still have that Baron buff for 50 seconds. It's a great rotation.
Impact just standing on the front line saying, do you want a powder keg? It'll take half of your HP, and Team Liquid flex their muscles and drop inhibitor number 2.
And Impact's been playing quite well this game. He had to go down in CS from the Anda camp at the start where he was kind of hovering around him. Just been bullied all game long. The 3-0 and 2 on the gangplank, able to contribute with the ultimate, able to contribute to these fights and pull Someday to the team. Been doing quite well in a bad situation, in a losing situation.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get to that point eventually on GP where you can clear those waves out so effectively, where you can add so much team fight damage, even just with that ultimate. And TL getting such a huge advantage around the map. Now 4 Dragons to the 1. Double Infernal. They're way ahead in gold. They've knocked down both of the inhibitors on the mid and bot side. They have everything in their hands.
Yeah, and this has been such an interesting game from a Champions League perspective too, because they gave Aframu the Recon, which is usually really taboo. You are not supposed to do that, but Cody's son on the Xayah always brings the damage. Rikara here has been using a lot of ease very early and not getting a lot of good ultimates off. The follow-up just hasn't been there, and Aframu hasn't even been landing those ultimates. He's just been a little short multiple times, 4 times this game. And it's saying, hey, maybe you can leave this champion up, and it gives you an edge in champion select.
Oh my god, he got knocked back immediately. Pole Belter with the amazingly fast fingers on the scatter of Afromu. And now 100 Thieves has left a player short, as it could be the finishing touches for Team Liquid, chasing Ryu out of the base. He says, walk this way, and Team Liquid will oblige for only so long, as now they head back to the 3 members of 100 Thieves that stand in front of their objective. That Nexus, Ole, quite a big belly on that one, and he gets knocked away, but throws up Someday first, so he goes down to the hands of the rest of Team Liquid. Onda's in doing what he can, but it is not going to be enough as Team Liquid look to close down on 100 Thieves.
Poe Belter looking to finish this last kill out. TL should have done it here. Looks like it's going to be all
my
time.
word! On the fountain, he goes down the ace from Double Lift and Team Liquid as they take game 2 in very strong fashion over 100 Thieves.
It's a very slow game there from Team Liquid. 100 Thieves, TL head-to-head for neck and neck pretty much all the game there. And then it was being broken open by the macro play, by the catches. Afromu, I believe 0-5-2 this game. Really punished every time he looked for an engage.
Yeah, definitely was not